are you doing? Hope fine. Today I am going to post a new video for you from the last part of the chapter Microorganism Friend and Foe. This topic includes the preservation of food and nitrogen cycle. So have a look. My dear children of class 8, today I am with the last topic of your chapter Microbes or Microorganism Friend and Foe. This topic encompasses about preservation of food. In this topic I am going to tell you the ways of preservation of food as well as about nitrogen fixation. So first let me tell you about the definition of preservation. Preservation is the process by which we can prevent the spoilage of food by microbes. Now food is very important for us to survive, clothing, fooding and housing. So these are the three primary things that a human being require for living or livelihood. Now food is grown by farmer with lot of efforts. So if we spoil the food unnecessarily, then it costs a lot. So that's why we should prevent our food being spoiled by microbes. Now how will you understand the food is spoiled? It can be said by four ways. By seeing the color, by seeing the odor of the taste, by smelling it, smell or odor is same, taste of the food. So these are the various ways how you can understand the food is spoiled. So in case of odor or smell, the spoiled food gives out foul smell like rotten eggs. Taste of the food will change, it will create a sourness and bad taste will come. Color of the food will also change. So these are the ways how we can understand the food is spoiled. Now, what are the ways to prevent food preservation? Generally there are two ways. First way is by killing the microbe present in the food, and second is by stopping the microbe from growing again in the food. So these are the two ways of preservation of food. Next are what are the common ways of food preservation? Food preservation can be done by various ways. You see, food can be perishable like wet food. Food can be dry food. So in case of dry food, we can dry or dehydrate the food. We can even use chemicals called preservatives to keep the food for long years. Salting and adding sugar can also be a way. Adding of oil and vinegar like in pickles can be other way. Heating of the food is a very good way for especially for milk. Refrigeration for perishable food item. Pasteurization generally done for milk, and canning for packed food or canned food which is kept in airtight condition at 120 degrees centigrade to destroy the microorganism. So these are the various ways of preservation. Now let me describe each and every topic for food preservation bit by bit. So hope you will understand each topic. So students, here I go with the types of preservation of food. First is drying. Now drying is the removal of moisture from the food. The food may have moisture or water in it. Now moisture helps in the growth of the microbes. Now if this moisture is removed from the food, then it will prevent the growth of microbes and hence the food will be preserved. So what type of food are preserved by the drying of the food? The main food items are cereals, pulses, spices and dry fruits. So these fruits are generally preserved by drying. Next come the use of chemicals. The chemicals which are used as a preservative are sodium benzoate, sodium metabisulfite. Now these are generally used to preserve food in various ways. Now how do these chemicals act? Generally chemicals interfere with the metabolism of the microbes. What type of metabolism do they interfere? Suppose these chemicals, sodium benzoate or sodium metabisulfite, they interfere with the growth of the cell wall of the microbe during cell division, and thus the microbe cannot grow. So these may be the cause why the microbes do not grow in the preserved food which are used with chemicals. Now what type of food is preserved in this way? Generally jams, jellies, squashes and ketchups are preserved by using preservatives. So you can see at your home your parents bring ketchup or jellies or jams, and you can store it in the fridge for months and you can consume it, is it, for many months you can consume the same product. So because they are preserved by the preservatives. Next is the salting and adding sugar. Now salt and sugar, they help to lose the water from the cell of the microbes by osmosis process that prevent the growth of the microbe. Now what is osmosis process? Here I have used a new term for you, osmosis. Now osmosis is actually, it is a process of diffusion where the water molecule passes in or out of the cell membrane, which is selectively permeable. So when the water enters the cell through the cell membrane by the process of osmosis, then it is called endosmosis. When the a cell loses water or the water comes out of the cell through the plasma membrane, it is called exosmosis. So osmosis is a type of diffusion where water moves in and out of the cell through the semi-permeable membrane, that is plasma membrane, due to concentration gradient. Now what is concentration gradient? So concentration gradient means, suppose we are thinking about a cell. For example, I am talking about mango. So in case of mango pickle, you are adding sugar to make the pickle. That is a sweet pickle, okay, or jelly. So when you are using the sugar, so this mango loses water. Even the microbe which is growing in it loses water by osmosis. How? Because the cell membrane acts as a selectively permeable membrane, thus loses water through concentration gradient. Now what is concentration gradient? Concentration gradient means when the concentration of water is higher inside the cell and lower outside. So what will happen? The cell will lose water. While if the water concentration is more outside and cell will have less water concentration, so water will move inside. So you will study this topic in class 9. So for the simple definition of osmosis, I have just described it so that you can understand what is exactly osmosis mean. So salting and sugaring of the help or the food helps in the loosening of water from the cell by osmosis. The microbes growing in the food may lose water through their cell wall and it will prevent the growth of the microbe in the food. So what are the type of food that are preserved by salting and sugaring? I just now gave an example of mango pickle or jelly. So raw mango, amla, tamarind, even fish, they are salted. And what's about sugar? Jam, jellies and sauces, they are mainly preserved by sugaring. The fourth type is adding oil and vinegar. Oil and vinegar are good preservatives. They are natural preservatives because microbe cannot grow in the oil and vinegar. So in this type of environment where there is oil and vinegar, microbes cannot find it easy to grow. So what type of food are preserved generally by this way? They are fruits, vegetables, fish and meat. They are preserved by oiling. Okay, so these are about the fourth type of preservation. So next fourth type of preservation are as follows. So the fifth type of food preservation is the heating. Heating or boiling can kill the microbe. Generally milk is heated or water is also heated and boiled for killing the microbe in it. Now next, here I want to tell you something about ultra heat treatment. It is also a heating treatment done to milk at 135 degrees centigrade only for 1 to 2 seconds. Now the milk which are available in Tetra packs, these are generally preserved by ultra heat treatment. So till the milk is opened or the sachet is open, it can be kept for months. Next comes refrigeration. So cooling or refrigeration does not kill the microbes, but it stops the growth and multiplication of the microbe. So which type of food are generally refrigerated? They are generally perishable food items like milk, meat, vegetables and fish. Next, seventh type of food preservation technique is pasteurization. Pasteurization is named after the scientist Louis Pasteur, who has given this method. Now what is this method exactly? Now heating the milk to 70 degrees centigrade for 30 seconds or half a minute. This process quickly is followed by quickly cooling. So the food is heated for 70 degrees centigrade and quickly cooled. Now in this process the microbes are killed. So generally milk products are preserved by pasteurization. Other than milk, honey, cheese, wine and juices are also preserved in this method. The last type of food preservation technique here is canning. Now canning is generally done for packed food. Packed food items like chips or many type of food item like dry foods, vegetables, they can be canned or they can be packed. So which are airtight, heated to 120 degrees centigrade to destroy the microorganisms. So there are several type of canned food item available in the market. So these are all the topics of food preservation techniques. The last part of this video is about nitrogen fixation. So watch it and try to understand. My dear children of class 8, is the last topic of the chapter Microorganism Friend and Foe. Is about nitrogen cycle. Now what is nitrogen cycle? Let me define it. The cyclical movement or the cyclic movement of nitrogen element between the living and the non-living components of the earth is called nitrogen cycle. So why it is important to study about nitrogen cycle? Because you know that nitrogen is a very important element in the atmosphere, which is about 78%. But this nitrogen is in the gaseous state in the atmosphere. Now nitrogen is very important element that is required for the production of chlorophyll, nucleic acid, protein and vitamins, because nitrogen is the part of this component. But this nitrogen cannot be taken directly from the atmosphere by the plants for making protein or nucleic acid or vitamins. So there are certain bacteria and blue-green algae present in the soil that can convert the atmospheric nitrogen into soluble form so that it can be absorbed by the plants and assimilated. Now these nitrogen fixing bacteria present in the soil, they can take the atmospheric nitrogen in the gaseous form and can convert it into ammonium, which is called ammonification process. Thereafter ammonium converts into nitrites, which is the process of nitrification. Then this nitrite converts into nitrates, which is a soluble form of nitrogen taken by the plants for making protein and nucleic acid as well as vitamins. Now the plant utilizes the nitrogen and synthesizes protein and other components. This is called nitrogen assimilation. Now animals that feed on plant directly, they utilize this protein and other nitrogen components for various purposes in their body. So when this animal and the plant both die, the decomposers like anaerobic and aerobic bacteria as well as fungus, they decompose the dead body of the decaying plant and animal and convert them into nitrogenous waste. So how does this conversion take place? First, this is converted into ammonia and ammonium salt by the process of ammonification, and finally to nitrate again. So nitrate from the soil are absorbed by the plant. Again this is absorbed by the plant. Now there are some bacteria which are called symbiotic bacteria that can fix the atmospheric nitrogen by the help of formation of root nodules. This type of bacteria, they live in the nodules, they form nodules in the root of the leguminous plants and they fix the atmospheric nitrogen and they finally convert it into absorbable form by the plants. So this is about the process of nitrogen fixation in the atmosphere. Now there is another part, that is denitrification. Now what is the denitrification? Now some bacteria present in the soil convert the nitrates into free molecular nitrogen that escapes into the atmosphere. This process is called denitrification. So in this way, the amount of nitrogen in the atmosphere also remains more or less constant. So this is the total process of nitrogen fixation. Hope you understood the topic about assimilation by the plants, nitrification and denitrification, as well as conversion of the elemental nitrogen in the gaseous form into the soluble form, which is taken by the plants and other animals. So this was about today's topic. The next upcoming video is from the next chapter. So for knowing more about the upcoming videos, you have to stay tuned with me, and for that you have to subscribe my channel. So keep watching more and more videos about your contents of various chapters in biology. Stay tuned with me. Thanks for watching. So my dear students, I hope you found the topic informative and quite interesting, isn't it? So if you have liked the topic, then put a big like. If you want your friends should be benefited, then share the video. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.